Four, three, two. All right, we're now joined by the new head coach of the Ponder Lions, Coach Marcus Schulz, a guy we've known since Splendora. First off, congratulations. It's funny because you and I talked way back when you were at Splendora about how one day you wanted to get closer to home. Did you think it was going to be this quick? That was only a couple years later.
No, I knew that was the ultimate goal, and I knew that was what me and my family, wanted to get back to and get back to our roots and get our son, into
Yeah.
a smaller community and a one high school type town. But the opportunity presented itself, and we're blessed to be there.
Yeah, your daughter was at Splendora, and you were going to stay till she graduates. You were at Humble for 2 years, and you really turned the program around. That a lot of people didn't think y'all were going to turn it around. In year two, you're fighting for the playoffs. How hard was it to leave that? Because I know that even though you were ready to go home, you really loved the boys there at Humble, and you're still posting about them and things like that.
No, it was definitely tough. Those are amazing kids, and they sometimes don't get the recognition that they deserve. And so those guys will always, have a place in my heart, and that staff is going to do phenomenal things. And so Coach Murphy was my defensive coordinator, and he's taken over that program, and they're in good hands. But, I think that, it was time to get back home. And so as much as we weighed out, the pros and the cons, and as much as I hated to leave some of those kids and that community, we want to get back around our family, and Ponder's an amazing community with great administration, and it's where we want to be.
Well, we've said on our show the last couple of years, Ponder, they're a Brock in the making if they could just get the right guy. And I'm not just saying this because we do a coach's show with you, but I think you're the right guy, not only because you're from the area, but what you did at Splendora. You're the type of guy that you come in and you rebuild programs. So your first step, what is your first step for Ponder?
I appreciate that. And I think the first step for us is just to get the kids to buy into what we're trying to do. It's little by little, and it's doing the little things right. And I'm blessed to be able to bring some guys with me that were at Splendora with me, and then went to Humble, and now they've come to Ponder. And so having that opportunity to have guys that know my system and our system and how we do things is a big thing. And so getting our kids to believe that they're worthy, similar to what Splendora was. Ponder's only been around for 13 years as far as football. Never won a playoff game in school history, and so have only been to the playoffs one time. And so it's a lot of similarities are there that Splendora had. And so, but I think we've got pieces in place. The community is phenomenal, man. We're doing home visits and things right now, and the welcoming that we've gotten and the reception that we've gotten has been awesome.
Well, you bring it up. You talk about the buying in, and you and I talked about this at Splendora. That's bigger than whatever scheme you run or anything like that. It's getting the kids to trust you when you say, this is going to happen on a play, and believe me, it will happen. That's the hardest part, isn't it?
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. And just getting them once, but that's all relationships.
Yep.
And it's building those relationships, and it's meeting those kids somewhere other than the playing field. And so getting them to believe and to trust in us and to believe what we're trying to sell them is the biggest part. But then once they get that buy-in and they get that feel and they believe that they can win, that's going to happen.
And how does it feel to be so close to home? You feeling more comfortable? Not that you weren't comfortable, but we used to talk about Splendora, and it was just you weren't from that area. Do you feel more comfortable now being in Ponder?
I do. And so, obviously my brother and my brother lives in Ponder, and he was on the school board, and he had to get off. I've got two nephews that are in between my son. My son is in between them, so I'm going to get to coach all my nephews and my son together. And so, getting back to that area, I don't think I've had a home-cooked meal from my mom other than a Thanksgiving or a Christmas dinner.
Yep.
And so we've been home now 2.5 months, and I think I've had, 10 or 12 home-cooked meals and her coming over. And so it's good to have that and that being back in that home feeling.
Well, and that's the thing. You're coming to Ponder. This isn't a hey, I'm just here to build the resume and move. And you and I talked about when I first texted you. Congratulations. You're laying a foundation just like you did at Splendora, but you want to see this all the way through. Now, in saying that, you did have to pick one of the toughest districts to get into. I mean, that's the one thing about it. You might have tougher district games than you would playoff games. So how do you again? Is that to build the confidence, get the players to think that they can beat the Brocks, the Whitesboroughs, and all those of the world?
Absolutely. I think our kids to an extent do. I think we played, if you look at our schedule last year, a lot of those games were close games. A lot of those games we were in the game or up and then lost late in the game. And so nothing against the previous coaching staff. I think they did a phenomenal job and did a great job with our kids. But little different mentality. We're gonna play a little bit more guys on both sides of the ball, and we're not just gonna play one side of the ball. And so, I think our kids have really bought into our defensive scheme and our defensive mindset. And offensively, we're still gonna do what we do, and you saw that in 7-on-7.
Yep.
But then defensively, we're going to also play a little bit of defense.
And y'all had a really good 7-on-7. And you talked about y'all. I know they lost the quarterback, but y'all got two great wide receivers coming back. And I'm like you, no offense to but they did tend to play more offense. Let's worry about the defense. That's not what you do. You're going to shore that defense up. We talked about in Splendora your last year. You had a lot of injuries offensively, and your defense carried y'all when a lot of people thought y'all were going to be down. And in that district, defense is going to win playoff spots.
Oh, no doubt. And then, we talked about the three-headed monster when we got to Ponder. It's just making sure that our offense, our defense, and our special teams. I'm a big-time special teams guy, and so making sure that we're clicking on all three of those, and we're spending ample time and adequate time on each area. And our kids are believing that they can play defense, and they're accepting of playing both sides of the ball. And so those guys like the Case Peacock was a 1,500-yard receiver last year. But then we moved him to the defensive side of the ball, and he was our leading guy with interceptions in 7-on-7 this summer. And so, we've got a good nucleus with Case and Cooper Reynolds coming back. Two quarterbacks that'll battle a little bit with Gage Ersh and Tyson Price. Brannick Sorensen's coming back, our running backs, Mason Shirley and Jimmy Camacho. And then on the other side of the ball, we're going to be good as well. And so, inside you got Colin Ussery and safeties. We got Gianni Ice coming back. TJ Mills out there at corner with Tyson Price. And so, mixing those guys up, it's going to be fun, and the kids are excited. Our coaching staff's excited. The community is excited, and so we're ready to get going.
I can hear it. Not saying you aren't excited at Humble, but I'm hearing Splendora Schultz right here. You're in the lab right now, and you're cooking. I can tell. You're going to surprise some people. We put a little target on your back on sideline. We called y'all a dark horse of the region, but I truly believe it. And like you said, your kids, getting them to believe you want to fear Brock, but you don't want to be scared of Brock. You want to fear Whitesboro, but not be scared of them. All that takes is that one big win, and I got a feeling the barn door is going to open.
No, you're exactly right. And we're going to respect everybody we play. It doesn't matter if we're playing somebody we, maybe hadn't been successful, or you're playing a Brock who's been, multiple state championships. We're going to respect everybody, but we're going to go into the game plan the same as we do every single week, and we're going to grind it out. We're going to play physical defense, and we're going to see where the chips fall.
All right. Good luck. Congratulations.